Alrighty, hello everybody, this is Kirosho here. Now, I'm going to be trying to make this a little bit faster since I do still need to hop in the shower and actually go to work. Now then, with that being said, let us continue. When we last left off, Izuki, she had just been on Bakugo's team for the actual battles. Now, bravery and anger, they were still a bit mad that they didn't really get a fight, but they just had to be defensive. So they're at least happy and excited that both of them are able to be offensive now. As love and happiness, they're a bit more concerned. They're not really sure how they're going to be fighting in the battles, so they would basically just say that if they need to, they will fight, but they don't really want to hurt anyone. Now, wisdom and balance, they would just say that that is true, but even then, we should still try and keep our emotions in check. Just try and stay calm, everyone. We will get this all figured out. Now, for the sake of this what if, I do want to switch around Bakugo's place in canon with Izuki's. So it'll be Bakugo versus Shinsho for the first round. Bakugo being fully aware of Shinsho's quirk since they are in the same class, he would just bring his hands up and get ready to throw a punch. As he charges his arm up, immediately throwing 15% of one for all straight at Shinsho. Shinsho, he would have tried to dodge it, but the shockwave it gave him would have at least sent him flying backwards near the edge of the ring. Now, as that happens, Bakugo, he would just tell Shinsho that he's sorry, but he's not going to be able to win. As Shinsho would just begin to speak. Bakugo, he would have immediately just hold up his hand over his mouth as he does not say a single word. Shinsho would just begin to talk smack as Bakugo is just trying to blast him out of the ring, eventually getting him out. Now, the next match is going to be Todoroki versus Sero, which would align just like in canon with Todoroki just blasting his covering the entire arena in ice and taking him out. Ibarra versus Kaminari. This fight would go exactly like in canon with her doing that dodge move and actually getting him stuck in her vines. Ida versus Mei. That goes the same with her turning him into a walking advertisement. Mina versus Kendo, let's say. Kendo, she actually does do one thing. She does bring her hands up and she would get them covered in acid or slime, however you want to call it, whenever she does that weird thing. But she just throws globs of it straight at Mina, or straight at Kendo, immediately trying to take her down. Finding that this is going to be ineffective, eventually Kendo would just be able to smack her hands together, knocking her out of the ring. Now then, Momo versus Tokoyami. This will go similar to canon where Tokoyami does do that thing where Momo blocks the shield and immediately gets hit. But there is one subtle difference. As soon as he does go in for the second attack, she actually does do a dodging roll and immediately rushes forward. As she would have tried creating a giant mallet and slamming it into him, but Dark Shadow would have taken the hit. Which is whenever she would have held out her left hand, immediately revealing that she made somewhat of a weapon, if not a mirror to shine light directly at Dark Shadow. As she would have done that, immediately shining at Dark Shadow, somewhat blinding him and immediately making him grow weaker. As she would have done that, as soon as Dark Shadow would have gone to attack again, she would have dropped the mirror and immediately created a bigger one, flashing it directly at him, getting him weak to the point where she's able to fight Tokoyami on par, actually taking him down fairly easily. Tetsu versus Kirishima. This would actually go exactly like in canon, where they do have the stalemate and eventually Kirishima does win. Now, Ochako versus Izuki. She is actually very nervous as Love would actually walk into Ochako's room, saying that it should be fine and she should do very well. Even then, do have to remember, we are separated, so we're not as powerful. Huh? Well, yeah, don't you know about that? We were separated in different emotions, so we're actually not as strong. We actually tried testing that. In fact, as she points over to bravery and rage, saying that they might actually be the strongest, since those emotions are ones she feels so sure about, if not expresses the most. However, she's actually the other strongest, as she points over to wisdom and balance, saying, quite simply, she does have a fighting chance. Oh, so I'll be fighting you then? Oh, no, actually. I'm kind of her pacifist side. I'm kind of just here as emotional support, as she would just wave out her hands, saying that she'll at least have confidence that she can possibly win. Which is whenever Rage would actually walk into the arena against Ochako. Ochako would watch as Rage does one simple thing. She immediately just brings her hands downwards, coating her entire body in darkness, as she releases it. She immediately just brings up her hand, saying that she'll give her a bit of a fighting chance because she does know some of Izuki's fighting styles, especially the ones centered about keeping me in her control. Oh, really? Well, yeah. So let's begin, as she would immediately start running straight toward Ochako. Rage immediately begins by lashing out, by immediately covering her entire arm and then actually creating darkness whips, as she actually does start moving them around the arena. She actually is trying to smash down and actually try and contain or just take out Ochako with heavy hits, as she's doing so, cracking up the arena and actually doing quite a bit of damage. As soon as that happens, Ochako, she would have finally gotten close enough to try and touch Izuki but as soon as she extends her hand out, she immediately touches Izuki's jacket, as she would just immediately basically jump out of it, immediately turning around, hitting her across the face with her hand, immediately smacking her away, as Ochako gets sent flying toward the edge of the ring. As soon as that happens, she would immediately hold up her hands, doing release, as she starts running straight towards her. As soon as Izuki looks up, she immediately brings her hands out, waving them upwards, grabbing everything out of the air, as she smashes them all together into little tiny pieces of dust. Ochako's in shock as she looks down to Izuki, punching her in the gut and actually just pushing her out of the ring, as she falls over, actually coughing up and nearly puking. As soon as that happens, everyone's a bit confused as to why she just did that, as Happiness and Love would run over and immediately try and help Ochako up, which still confuses everyone. So they actually are separate emotions, if not separate beings. That makes a lot more sense now. So that means that she's the most ruthless one. Are you okay, Ochako? Yeah, I'll be fine. I just didn't expect that slugger to the gut. As Love immediately turns her head, looking straight at Rage, immediately shouting that that was not called for. That was just rude. You shouldn't have done that. You know, I don't need your bickering. I can do whatever I want. In fact, my first idea was just to push her out of the ring. I tried to at least make it look good so she can get some recommendations. Or at least internships. You held back? Obviously. She immediately watches Love just look. She immediately watches as Rage just look down at her hand, saying that I'm not the rage in her heart or her body, I'm the rage in her mind. She does not believe she can stay in control. Whenever she lost it, she forced me out. Tried to get away from me, pushed me to the side. I am her. As she says one thing even more. The next match begins with Bakugo versus Todoroki. Now, as soon as Bakugo actually does walk into his waiting room, Todoroki is in in this one. Bakugo just says sorry. As Todoroki does do one thing, he asks Bakugo exactly what's going on with his quirk. Huh? Well, it's just that your enhancement quirk. I know for a fact that that's not your quirk. What are you talking about, Icy Hot? Bakugo, don't play dumb with me. That enhancement part of your quirk isn't yours, it's All Might's. Wait, so... you know? Of course I know. In fact, Izuki trusts us, so she told us. Besides, Yaoyorozu knows too. Oh, your girlfriend? Yaoyorozu's not my girlfriend. Dude, it's obvious. Hell, she's been trying to set you up with Momo. What? Yeah, she just said one time that she felt like she was third wheeling it. And in fact, that's actually what I heard from Love and Happiness. That is still weird to say. Yeah, this is a bit weirder. Now, he would just say that he's quite aware then, so... He would just say that he is quite aware then. So, are you going to ask out Yaoyorozu, or... Well, yeah, but what about you and Izuki? Huh? Well, she clearly likes you, dude. She doesn't just bicker with anyone. Besides, I did see Love and Happiness actually take an immediate liking to you. Well, I thought it was just because they wanted to be helpful. No, it seems like she likes you, dude. As they are told one more time to come out to the arena for their matches or they will both be disqualified. As they both immediately run outside. Now, as soon as that happens, Bakugo and Todoroki face off. Immediately, Bakugo turns on not full cowling, but he turns on One for All in his right arm as Todoroki immediately begins. He immediately encases the arena in ice as Bakugo does one simple thing. He hesitates for a second as he swings his arm outwards, blasting if not knocking away the ice, redirecting it to his left. As he's immediately in shock, realizing that actually worked. So he didn't have to try and go all out with One for All. Thank God. Now, after that happens, he immediately just begins by using his quirk in his left hand and smashing and starting to blast through the rest of the ice. As he does turn off One for All for a second to actually turn his wrist, turn it back on, and immediately do a spinning tornado. As he comes in actually just smashing into Todoroki, these two would begin to fight. Todoroki actually blasting fire around Bakugo, and as soon as these two would have gotten close enough to each other to actually grab onto one another and grapple, Todoroki would have immediately picked up Bakugo, but as soon as he throws him over his shoulder with his fire, Bakugo would have immediately caused an explosion, setting the two ablaze as one simple thing happens. Todoroki got sent flying out of the arena, while Bakugo got sent flying through the air. After that happened, Bakugo, he's trying to maneuver himself if not fall into the ring, as he would do so smashing onto his left arm, somewhat dislocating if not hurting his elbow, as he would go see Recover before his next match. Now then, Ibarra versus Ida, that goes the same as in Kanon. Kendo versus Momo. I do want to say Momo would actually lose, because Kendo, she's more combat style. The only thing I can ever think Momo could create to actually... The only thing I can think of Momo creating that could actually help her is, well, some giant thing, like a catapult, or... I'm not really sure what would help her in this situation, so she wouldn't win. So Kendo would be declared the winner as she would move on to the next match, as we have Kirishima versus Izuki. Now, Wisdom would actually walk up on the stage, as Love actually does say one thing. She better not try doing what Rage did. Don't worry, it'll be fine. Besides, Rage will have a chance to fight in the actual finals. or the semifinals. Then I'll do the finals, so it will be fine. Okay, well, just be careful. Okay, don't worry, we got this. As she would reassure Love. Now, with that, she would step into the ring as Kirishima does the same. She immediately does something different where she immediately extends her arms outwards and immediately turns them, as she actually does levitate up into the air. Kirishima just looks up at her, saying that this is not how he expected this fight to go. Now, as soon as that happens, Izuki would just start throwing around, if not just throwing around different pieces of the ring. The fragments that are left from Ochako's battle. Now, she's actually doing this as she would finally break through Kirishima's defense and immediately run up, punching him in the face. And as he would have actually hardened, she would have hurt her hand, as she just pushes him out of the ring. She would have done so with telepathy and telekinesis, at least trying to give him a good fight, but finding that his quirk is harder than she thought. Now, as that happened, we have Bakugo versus Ida. The fight would go very similar with Ida actually doing something different. He would try to just run around the ring, but Bakugo does one thing. He charges one for all on his arm as he just keeps smashing and smashing his hand downwards, making the ring unstable and unsafe for him to walk on. As he would do that, he would be running over and just doing the same over and over again, staying low to the ground as he would just punch Ida out of the ring with his arm. Now, with that is whenever Bakugo, he would finally just hold on to his arm as he actually has to switch off, charging up his left hand. Now, with that being said, you have Kendo versus Izuki. Izuki versus Kendo would go vastly different, with the fact being, Kendo, she would immediately try throwing her hands around Giant as Izuki would just grab them with darkness, grab them with light or whatever color they would be at this time, case them in chains, and immediately lock them up. Kendo would be able to try and break through the top ones, but as soon as she would have had her body weight fling her out of the ring, if not out of the air, she would be out, as she would have walked over, actually giving her a hand, saying that she shouldn't feel so bad about that. But her quirk is very good. She just needs to work on the way she uses it. In fact, it was very good the way you did that. I didn't expect you to actually break through the bubbles. Well, thank you then. Now she actually does stand up. Love actually does admire what Wise and Wisdom is doing, so she would just walk over and immediately just give her a hug. As Wise is a bit confused, they would immediately begin to glow as they form one person. Now, Kendo is in shock, asking exactly what just happened, as Izuki would just take off her hood and immediately just say that she's getting closer to becoming me again, or she's becoming closer to being her again, the proper Izuki. She's just missing two fundamentals. What? I need her, as you see Rage just looking at this, still a bit mad. Now, with that, this is whenever Rage would be going up against Bakugo in the finals. Since she didn't get enough battles that she wanted, she actually is taking the chance to jump in, without Wise's input. Now, with that, she would have jumped in and immediately began fighting with Bakugo. Bakugo would be trying to throw around his left arm, and actually trying to fight, as Rage would have done one thing. She wouldn't have even been using her quirk, she would have just gone for pure fighting style, as she would have ran in, taking one of Bakugo's solid punches, and countering with her own kick, as she would have kicked him in the chin, knocking out one of his teeth. As her and him would go back and forth, just swinging around punches, until Bakugo does one simple thing. He turns his arm up to 35% by accident and actually does swing, as this would actually pull the muscle in his arm. She would immediately counter by punching him in the face and just as he gets knocked to the ground. She would just say that she didn't expect him to actually do that, but, well, you're getting control over that. You just need to do one thing. Try putting it throughout your entire body. Huh? Well, that's your problem. Your flaw. Try bringing it throughout your entire body this time. As Bakugo does get back up. His arm is still cramping up, but he actually does turn off One for All, as he does shake it off. He does turn himself up to about 15% of full cowling, as he's not even sure what he just did. Did you just do that? Huh? Oh, yeah, I thought you needed the help. I used telepathy to get in your head a little bit, and I tried poking around. How is she able to? Don't worry about it. Now just give me a goddamn fight. As these two would begin. She's using her darkness as shields, as she actually is just fighting by taking them down, throwing up shields whenever she needs to block and defend, and punching Bakugo in the face. As eventually it'll get to the point where these two would finally take each other out. Izuki falling onto the ring as Bakugo does too. These two being so heavily damaged, it's hard to decide who's the winner, saying that whoever can stand up will be declared the winner. As Izuki, her rage is trying to get up off the ring, as Wise is telling her to move. Get up. Win. While Trigon is cheering her on. People are actually watching as he's throwing up his hand, telling her to not give up. As she is getting to her feet. She's on her knees as she actually does come up to her feet, and just falling backwards onto the ring once again, finding that she's completely exhausted. As Bakugo, he would somewhat be told he's the winner, but whenever she did fall into the ring again, she was at least declared the winner since she won last. Bakugo wasn't even able to move because of how in pain he put his muscles through. Now then, with that being said, that is where I'm going to be leaving things off of, guys. I do hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm going to go to work now.